Haven't you always wanted to sit and waste your life away reading and critiquing the roleplay of creepy motherfuckers on the internet? No? Awesome. Unlike me, you can still find Jesus. How's it going, folks? My name's Darren, and I've been roleplaying for 10 years. Everyone started somewhere, but the people I usually see haven't quite figured out where to start. So let's begin. As I said in my last video, I would love to show off some of my own personal cringy writing. I was on Q-Star's Discord server, and me and a bunch of people on call were talking about roleplay and the cringy shit, and we thought it'd be funny if we could write this scene. Thanks to Simonella for participating and allowing us both to subject ourselves to this self-delivered mind-fucking. Without further ado, let me read you this bucket of cringe. It's great. The forest was dark, a cool breeze causing the trees to sway, branches rustling and twigs cracking. You are alone on the path, terror slowly starting to grip your heart, unknowing of what was in the darkness beyond your vision. Who knew what could be there? What monsters could come out of the forest and tear you to shreds? What could possibly end your life? "Milady," a soft voice said, "I had appeared behind you, and you could feel my breath across the skin of your neck. You understand the forest is no place for a beautiful lady like yourself. Please allow me to accompany you home, so that I may fend off what terrible monsters and chads you may run into, my darling." So as I hope you can probably tell, I'm not taking this seriously in the slightest, but at the same time, I am. At this point, I'm not expecting much in response. Maybe a paragraph, maybe two, who knows. Then I get this. I held my breath as I heard the voice behind me, and it took all of my willpower not to punch the lumbering figure with the barbecue chip-scented breath. To enjoy a walk back to my apartment from the store was just too much to ask, I suppose. No, I simply had to be interrupted while enjoying the tranquil beauty of the park. Taking in a sharp breath, I turned to look back at the man, no surprise left in me when I saw him. The fedora, it pulled my attention like a moth to a shitty meme, and I could hardly stifle the laughter that now threatened to erupt from behind my clenched teeth. I could simply put an end to this man's fantasies with 3 simple words and the flip of my shoulder-length black hair, but I decided against it. Everyone deserves to have some fun after all. "Do you not think I'm capable, dear sir?" I asked, pitching my voice higher than usual, fluttering my lashes in a way that I've seen many girls do. "While I appreciate your concern, I can't help but wonder what skills you'd have to protect me. Enlighten me, perhaps." This is when I realized I wasn't in the right mental state at 4:30 a.m. in the morning to actually do this. They live in a different time zone, so it was reasonably early for them. But let's not take away from how impressive this actually is. Good characterization, good narrative, and the memes are golden brown, just the way I like them. "Of course, milady," I said, drawing my celestium katana from its sheath. "A delicate flower such as yourself," I said, letting the blades rest at my side, my ratty duster flapping in the wind, distorted by my thick belly, "deserves a protector who lives by the sword. And for you, my sweet," I say with a bow, "I would gladly die by it as well." I straighten up, my breath labored from the physical exertion I have already exposed myself to, but I would never allow her to know that. I cut my hand with the blade, before returning it to its sheath, as no true katana should ever be drawn without spilling blood. "Now, my sweet darling, please do lead the way." So I'll admit, I've been role-playing for a while, but I haven't exactly gotten past standard paragraph form. I enjoy doing it. I know a good roleplay when I see it, but I'm certainly not the best out there. I'm just the only one I know of dumb enough to subject themselves to a miserable existence of reacting to shitty roleplay on the internet. Why do I do this again? I was shocked, to say the least, and I couldn't help but let a little chuckle spill from my lips. Gathering myself, I took a step towards the man, looking at the hand that was now smudged with his own blood. "That looks painful," I said, taking the chubby appendage in my own slender fingers and looking it over more closely. "I'm a blind piece of shit after all." "You shouldn't have done that to yourself, darling. You'll look like an emo, especially if you talk about death so much, my sweet." Letting go of the man's hand, I turn back around, making sure my black skirt sways more with the motion than it typically would. Gotta be seductive, drawing the desperate. "Now, you can protect me, right?" "I think I have a reward for your quest, if you can," I said, smiling gently and sending a playful wink in the taller man's direction. With that, I continue forward, further along the sidewalk and back towards my apartment. "Don't worry, babe. My apartment isn't too far. What's your name, by the way, my handsome debut?" So I actually didn't know what debut meant when they said this. Turns out it means fat ass, but no weeb actually knows that. Apparently, I don't know. But again, same comments as before. They do a great job of just indicating how disgusting my character is, which is going far beyond what I would be capable of in the situation. Both of us have been fucking up the simplest spellings, but we're laughing and crying for this to end at the same time, and yet we're here. Yeah, we're here. If you're wondering why we say said a lot, a lot of times you'll hear role players be like, "You can't keep saying said," and that's actually wrong. It's more fluid in dialogue if you just keep saying said, because the human brain actually starts to ignore it after a really long time. But if you keep changing what you say afterwards, then the reader's brain focuses on that. Realistically, you should be showing, not telling. They're called saidisms. At least that's what I was always taught they were called. Like exclaimed, shouted. You can use some every once in a while. They're not 100% bad to use all the time, but if every single time, if said can be placed there, then place said there. The same with don't do the lavender unicorn trope where you describe the person. Like let's say your main character is a redhead. Don't say the redhead said. Just say the main character said. Yeah, you'll see those charts of people saying said is dead. Said is dead. Said is very much so not dead. Stop trying to kill it. Back to the fucking cringe. I smile. Such a sweet lady, the perfect mate for me to pass on my genetics. Not painful at all. With a lady of your magnitude, I could subject myself to far more. I grin, rubbing the beard that never made it past my jawline. I stare at her rear as she turns, thinking of the beautiful, genius children we will have. She would supply the beauty, and my 9001 IQ would certainly make up for any lost intelligence. I step towards her, wrapping my arms around her, pulling her close to me. "Though, milady, perhaps we could abscond to the forest. Only the beauty of nature could ever hope to be a suitable backdrop to the throes of your ecstasy as we create the perfect offspring. I promise I will respect you as a woman, and I will keep you close and safe for as long as I may live." I'm really struggling at this point. I'm just regretting all of my life decisions and really wish someone would just come and lobotomize me so that this torment can end. And thankfully it ends soon. He was grabbing me. The fucking pig had his meat sack arms wrapped around my shoulders, pressing my face into boobs larger than my entire face. Immediately I tensed up, feeling myself go rigid at the man's words. Who does he think he is? I can't fucking believe this is happening, I thought, slipping my hand into my pocket to grab the small device I always kept there. I really hadn't wanted to use it. The moment he stopped speaking, I pressed the button, jamming the small taser into his stomach and twisting myself free from the behemoth. In a moment, I gathered myself, pointing the taser towards the man as I began to speak. Listen here, piggy, don't you ever touch me again, you hear me? That is the creepiest shit that anyone has ever done. I take a step closer, a smirk settling onto my lips. Furthermore, the whole offspring idea you have in your head seems a bit diluted, if I must say so. You seem to be overlooking one key feature, I say. I clench my teeth, gripping the edge of my skirt and raising it to my mid-torso, exposing my underwear, which was noticeably more full than a woman's should be. I'm a man. And this was the end. And what an end it was. I was expecting the twist, but the delivery was sound. See, even the worst situations can be relatively well written, and I think at least tolerable to read if done right. Let me know what you thought on my masochism in the comments below. Now I'm gonna do a couple creepy asterisks. I come into your room and I climb on top of you and I start to rub my pee-pee through my boxers and I look at you and I poke your nose. Please wake up. Please, I need attention. Please wake up. How do people think this is sexy? I don't get it. Erotica is one of the best-selling book types on Amazon when it comes to independent writers, and yet people don't understand how to write something that's erotic. People don't find childish terms to get their jimmies, you know? Unless they're into age play, and even then, it's usually not this bad. This has to be someone who just needs to be dominated, like submissive to the max and doesn't actually understand how the English language works. Okay, that was one sentence, and it had 4 ands. 4. That's bad. A sentence should really only have 1 and. I feel that it's really common in role players online to have something to do with like mommy daddy play or master sub play or like babysitter, like teacher, boss, secretary, what have you. You know, you find a lot of the role plays that people do with their significant others just to like spice things up in the bedroom in role play, but they take it far, far further. And I guess that's sort of the benefit of role play. You're not looking into the eyes of your significant other while you're doing this, where the subconscious part of your brain is saying, you married this person years ago, what are you doing? And realistically, we'll have to remember that online roleplay has a lot more fetishes, a lot more prevalent than in real life. And if the fetish exists, people roleplay it online. Actually, there are more fetishes online that are roleplayed than are enacted in real life. Guaranteed. I will guarantee that. Okay? But now we've got something even more amazing. Hello, my dear people. I may be friendly, but careful. Females, I have made a lot of slaves during my time, even heroines, or even famous women like Lucy of Fairy Tale, or even Riaz herself now before me. So, watch out anyways. Nice to meet you all. As he was finished corrupting a heroine into a Fuda zombie. Everyone take notes. Everyone, get your pens, get your paper, pull up a Word document, whatever, like, carve this shit into your skin. We have a master here. This man has gone to great lengths to master the techniques of making females stay the fuck away from him, and as far the fuck away from him. It's quite impressive, actually. I don't understand this whole zombie thing. I've seen it. And I don't understand it. Do people actually enjoy being the zombie? Like, you're just playing an NPC at that point. There's no point to you writing anymore. You're not playing a character, you are playing a puppet. You have no individuality, you have no thoughts, you have no interests, you have no likes and dislikes. You're nothing. You are literally just driven by your core need to, in this situation, I would assume, fuck this guy. That's it. That's your sole purpose for existing. You have about as much complexity mentally as a calculator at that point. Like, in some ways, I kind of get it. I know people who've told me, and it makes sense, that they would actually go out of their way to play the opposite part of the scene. So if they're the dom, they'll try to play the sub because they know what they would want someone in that position to do for them, and so they write that, and they get their kicks out of using the other person as their self-insert. Because role plays like these really entirely revolve around the submissive. Fetishes that have a clearly defined top and bottom, both in text and in real life, revolve around the submissive. You know those doms? The ones who expect their subs to do what they say, when they say it, how they say to do it? They don't actually realize that in any situation like that, the submissive has all the power, because all they need to do is say no. And they can end everything. It's an act. It's a game. It is not real life, even if it's happening in real life. Remember this. The second the sub says no, all that power you think you have is fucking gone. With that said, that's it for today. Hope you liked it. If you didn't, hit that dislike button because that's what it's there for. If you're feeling generous, hit the like button and post a comment. Tell me something weird. As usual, give me the best roleplay opening you can, or tell me something weird as I just said, and for the sake of cringe, I will give you the best response I can give you. I'm not done with these garbage posts, and I've accepted that I never will be. Until next time, have a very nice day, and ta-ta for now.